I'm Michael Bain and welcome to Triggered, coming to you as always from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains in Dragon House Studios, brought to you this week by Taurus and MTM Case-Gard. Now, of course, you've seen this guy before. This is a Sig Cross rifle, and I had big hopes of doing all kinds of things with it, but it came into last year, into summer, and all of a sudden summer was followed by, I know this is a shock, but pretty much winter. So a lot of things that I wanted to do with this rifle didn't go forward, and I'm going to actually start on it now. I like this rifle a lot. Now I don't have a huge number of rounds to it, but I do have enough rounds to know that it is very much what I like in a 308 rifle. I said 308, 16-inch barrel, bolt action, 6.5 pounds without the optics on it, adjustable buttstock folds, all kinds of magic happy stuff that you might want to carry into the hunting fields. And for me, I wanted to make this rifle an extension of my own concept of getting beyond the scout rifle. Now that's something we talked about 2020. I did a two-part special. This is, of course, my own scout rifle. This is a Ruger Gunsight Scout, one of the early ones. And when this rifle was designed, it was designed at Gunsight. I was in the meeting with myself, Dave Spalding, the late Ed Head, Buzz Mills, and Ken Jorgensen from Ruger. We had a whiteboard and we spec'd out everything we wanted in a scout rifle, and the Ruger Gunsight Scout comes pretty close. Now I've got a lot of experience with this rifle, which I've always seen as a general purpose gun, a hunting gun, a training gun, if necessary, a self-defense gun. This rifle has been to Africa, it's been to New Zealand, it's been to classes at Gunsight, at FTW Ranch. It is a super multi-purpose rifle, but I think the Cross has the potential to be better. Now, after I talked a little bit about getting beyond the scout rifle, my friend Steve Clifford, now I met Steve at a general purpose rifle class, interestingly enough, at the Whittington Center, and he and I hit it off and talked extensively about the concept of a general purpose rifle. And Steve has gone forward with that and hammered out the concept and done a spectacular job. So I'm looking at Steve's concept, which is under 9 pounds, a gun that can be used for snapshots, mid-range, and the occasional long range. So it's going to need a good scope, not necessarily a scout scope, but one of the modern variable power scopes. It's going to need a bipod, which can be taken care of with something like the Spartan bipods, which are very light, very much built for hunting for hunting rifles. And it needs to be in a solid caliber like 308. When I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the scopes. Hang on. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Taurus USA. Always ready, always bring it. Stoger, everyday tough. SDS Imports, Thesis. Thesis means quality. Hunter's HD Gold, they change so you don't have to. And MTM Case-Gard, quality shooting sports accessories. Welcome back to Triggered, where we're talking about my plans for the Sig Cross rifle. Did I mention that it has an excellent world-class 3.5 pound two-stage trigger pull? Perfect. I love the way the bolt runs. It's very smooth. Uses Accuracy International standard magazines. It comes with a 5-round magazine. It's good because it fits flush, which is what you want in a hunting rifle. But I wanted to mention the scope. Now, originally, when I got this rifle, we started talking about these scopes. This is Sierra BDX, one of the Sig Sauer electro-optic scopes that talks to their rangefinder. Rangefinder talks to your phone, phone talks to the scope, all of them talk to the aliens in the sky. It is a great system. It works super, but this scope is a little bit heavy magnified for what I want. This is a 4.5 to 14x scope, which when you look at a general purpose rifle, and I'm stealing this from Steve Clifford, you need to be in the 2 to 10, 1.5, to 10 to 9, 3 to 9 worst case. You need to be in that range. Why? Because you get a lot of magnification beyond 3x, and it makes it very, very hard to snap shoot. And for me, a general purpose rifle has to be a snap shooting machine. We've talked about that before. So here's my plan, pretty simple. This scope is coming off and is going onto my 300 Win Mag that went with me on my first trip to Africa. Because 300 Win Mag, you can get out there with 300 Win Mag. You can look at that 1,000-yard range on it. You can do that with a 10X, but maybe not quite as well. So we're going to experiment with the Electro Optics BDX on the 300 Win Mag. And then this scope is going on the Cross rifle. This is a Leupold VX6 212. It is the best hunting scope I have ever used in my life. It went with me on this Henry Long Ranger to Africa on my most recent trip. It was also on my Ruger 300 Win Mag on my very first trip. It is an excellent scope. It's a fire dot scope. I've been able to snap shoot with that scope better than any other scope I own. So the 2 to 10, 2 to 12 is going to go on the Cross rifle, and that gives me a chance to start working with it and get a sense for how it's going to work. Now I know Steve had some criticisms of it, of the Cross rifle. He decided to go back to the Steyr Scout as his base for a general purpose rifle. I'm going to give you the links. You can check out his criticisms. But meanwhile, in a few weeks, I'll be able to tell you a lot more of how this project is going. When we come back, we're going to crawl into a big plastic case. Stay with us. Welcome back to Triggered, and this is the big plastic box that we're going to be crawling into from our sponsor MTM Case-Gard. It's their latest in their ammunition cases, and you'll notice it has 3 dividers. Now, why did this make me so happy? Well, number one reason is magazines. Obviously, I have a lot of guns here. I've got a lot of magazines for guns that I've had over the years. And originally, I kept them in plastic cases that I bought at one of those big box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. I got these plastic cases and I sorted all the magazines and put them in. What I didn't know is as that plastic ages, it becomes brittle. And eventually it becomes so brittle that when you take the case, the plastic container, off the shelf, the bottom falls out. And all those magazines that you carefully sorted end up on the floor, and you can do it all again. After this happened to me a couple of times, I said, I need a solution. And MTM Case-Gard has the solution for that. These cases are not going to age, and the bottom is not going to fall out on them. They're stackable, they fit the shelves. It's a really smart move to have the dividers in because I have a lot of magazines where I only have a few for certain specific type firearms. So, MTM Case-Gard, Sarait, Sarait. If you can remember what that's from, you're old. I'm Michael Bain. This is Triggered. Of course, you can find us on michaelbain.tv. You can find us on Facebook for a while longer, on Rumble, on Twitter. And it's where you definitely want to see us because we're always free. See you next week.